We got an epic game between the Clippers and the Suns in Game 1 at Phoenix yesterday. And there's lots of that coaching stuff you may have missed that we need to go over. As Monty Williams couldn't figure out what Ty Lue was doing, Russell Westbrook tried to get on my favorite players list, and Kawhi Leonard proved that, since January, he absolutely should have been a huge part of the discussion for MVP. Ty Lue is always good for some out-of-the-box thinking and radical adjustments, and he started out the gate with some interesting matchups for KD, but I definitely didn't have Eric Gordon guarding him at the start on my bingo card. I get not wanting to tire Kawhi out early, but with guys like Batum and even Russ out there, this was a novel choice, and it was clear to me that the Suns had no idea what to do with this. If we examine some of these possessions early, it'll explain why KD had such an awful first quarter as the Suns fell into a deep hole. Far too often, you'd see the Suns not try to exploit this matchup and just have KD standing on the weak side completely disengaged. While they were able to squeeze some points out with Torrey Craig because the Clippers put Zubats on him and just ignored him all game, which explains why Craig ended up with a robust 22 points, but it took them till halfway through the quarter to even get Durant in space, where he burps up a standstill, no rhythm, very long two brick. In a bit of trolling perhaps, they put his former teammate Russell Westbrook on him, and the Clippers doubled their lead in the second half of the quarter. And when's the last time you saw KD get his pull-up midi blocked? Oh wow! They snuck Kawhi on him for a couple possessions in the first, and KD looked completely disinterested in this matchup as he stuck in the corner watching Ayton miss a shot that's way too far out for a pick and roll. And watch Leonard eliminate him by denying the pass, then top-locking the cross screen by making sure Zubats is in position to take away the back door. Once that's blown up, KD is out of the play, and the Suns get a decent look but come up empty. It just didn't make sense that Monty Williams wouldn't try to exploit Powell guarding KD. How about put him down on the block with his 8-inch height advantage? Instead, he's left to watch Booker operate in that mid-range, but the Clippers are more than willing to give these up, especially if they outscore the Suns 10-6 in threes for the game. Of course, Russ had been uniquely qualified to make coaches shake their head multiple times a game for his whole career. And shooting-wise, this game was no different. He tends to get going too fast to the rim and fling shots up with too much power, like this layup attempt early. I'll even give him credit for trying to adjust his three-point shot by hanging in the air less before release in order to improve rhythm. But taking 6 of these and only making 1 is just all sort of problematic, as I don't think he'll ever solve the energy transfer and alignment issue. But he hit this corner 3. Notice how he's generating rhythm from his standstill by lifting and replacing his right foot. And this time he gets to attack his old nemesis in transition. I love how he drops the ball to the left hand before splitting and exploding right by him for the easy finger roll. But it was his defense, passing, and hustle that got me out of my chair. On this Spain pick and roll, the irony is that the Suns run this action a lot, but royally screw up the defense. Normally you'd see Biyombo drop down low underneath this back screen to pick up his man rolling, but the screen is called out too late, Biyombo's taken out, Okogie doesn't switch with him, and Russ makes the right read for the easy lob. Out of a timeout, Lue drew up a beauty. Watch how KD doesn't want to leave Kawhi on his cross screen, while Ayton was so concerned about this weak side pin down that he doesn't know where the ball is. Another dime from Russ off of great execution. Another beautiful example of teamwork and chemistry as the Clippers shape up to set a pin down for Gordon, but when KD tries to shoot the gap here, Gordon reads it perfectly and cuts back door. Russ sees it immediately and they get another layup. The fact that Russ shot so poorly but contributed so much to this win was a testament to his determination and toughness. And these are the traits that can help you with Underdog Fantasy. And I got a special offer just for you and just for this week only. If you've been watching my videos, you might already know how Underdog Pick'em works. And right now, if you sign up on UnderdogFantasy.com with the promo code BBALLPROMO and make your first deposit of $10 or more, not only will Underdog double that first deposit up to $100, but you will also get a special pick to use in Friday night's games. Julius Randle, higher or lower than 0.5 points, is a freebie in your pick'em entry. So you can pair this with one other high-low pick in the app, for a chance to triple your money in a single game. This promo is only available to new Underdog users who sign up and deposit with the promo code BBALLPROMO by Friday at noon. So be sure to head over to UnderdogFantasy.com or check out their mobile app and get in on the action today. Once you're signed up, the special will be live in your app a few hours after that noon deadline. But let's get to the main event here, and that is how Kawhi Leonard just took over this game offensively, carrying the Clippers on his back with some really impressive numbers here. The Suns also matched up a little bit unconventional with KD guarding Russ early to allow Torrey Craig to wear Kawhi out, and that means Durant can ignore Russ and roam from the weak side. This almost works, but Kawhi draws the foul. I doubt Monty will change this too much, but in Game 1 at least, Torrey Craig was no match for Kawhi Leonard. And unlike the Suns' offense, the Clippers knew exactly how to get Kawhi in space and just go to work without the help being able to do anything about it. They tried to force a switch to go at Shamet, but Craig does a nice job to recover and cut him off. However, it leaves him off balance and falling backwards, with Kawhi doing his best Kobe impersonation as Ayton can only watch helplessly. Leonard even played a bit like Steph Curry, cutting across the lane for a pin down here, then cutting back to the weak side before coming off the pin down in the lane. If Craig tries to shoot the gap on this side of the screen, it's an easy catch and shoot midi every time. Here was a great read by Russ as Kawhi isn't cutting to get open. He's supposed to be setting a cross screen for Batum. But Westbrook fires his pass perfectly. Somehow Leonard sensed it coming and shows us the beginning of what was to be some incredible footwork in the lane. The Suns are going to have to send more help to Kawhi, but the Clippers offense makes sure it's damn near impossible. With Zubac in the dunker spot, Ayton cannot afford a hard double, and CP3 cannot leave Gordon in the corner. However, why isn't KD coming over quickly to help? Booker can handle the skip pass to the corner and a closeout. Instead, Kawhi is out here cooking barbecue. Lue continued to get Kawhi to his sweet spots with simple pin downs. And here's where KD must leave his man and take advantage of the poor spacing by the Clippers offense in order to do something to get it out of Kawhi's hands. Watch this move. While there is some very slight moving of both feet, which you could say was a travel, there's also very provocative contact, which could have easily been a foul. But from this point on, Kawhi is legally allowed to lift his pivot foot so long as he shoots or passes before it comes down. The right foot is the pivot, he steps on the left and lifts the pivot foot off the floor, then somehow banks this in through even more contact. Beautiful. They finally got KD on him late in the third, and he does an excellent job not to switch through the ball screen by Plumlee. However, he puts KD in the pump fake blender until drawing 2 free throws. By the fourth, we retreated to the marquee matchup between these two, and another simple pin down gets him a catch at the free throw line. Watch how Kawhi ducks underneath KD's left arm. He then taps KD on the hip as he takes a little bit bigger left step than normal to get separation, and KD is trying to step slide instead of contest the shot in the air. Plenty of contact on Kawhi's left arm, but it doesn't even faze him for the and one. There really isn't anywhere to send help on an elbow catch since Kawhi could dice it up from that close to the hoop. So Durant has to guard by himself. Another Kobe jab step into the long two, and it's pure. Instead of coming off a pin down to the elbow, the Clippers try a pick and roll. KD needs a break and tells Booker to needlessly switch. So the Clippers clear this out. CP3 slides up, risking a quick pass to Mann, who's a good three-point shooter, while Shamet also pinches in off a good shooter in Powell. Leonard does another legal one-footed step through just like we saw before, but he's again tricky with his footwork before that part. Frame by frame, you can see he ends the dribble with the right foot down, meaning the left foot becomes the pivot, especially because he moves the right foot after it had planted. As a result, this is really a travel since he lifts the left foot and puts it back down before shooting it. Tough in real time with the defender on top of him, but this one probably shouldn't have counted. As we move on to crunch time, let's just point out that Russ made a bunch of glue plays that were absolutely huge. Here he saves the day by improbably blocking Ayton on a gimme of a shot while they were still clinging to a 1-point lead. And this offensive rebound in transition was also huge, not only because they were still barely leading, but because he catches Torrey Craig completely lost on the nice skip to a wide open Kawhi for the first nail in the coffin. Up 2 with 2 minutes left, they inexplicably go back to Craig on Kawhi, and the Suns do well not to allow Durant to attack CP3. However, what the heck is Craig doing? With the ball that close to Kawhi, he cannot give him this much space, and Leonard puts another nail in the coffin with a triple. Durant rubs Kawhi off the high pick and roll and then finds the open Ayton running into the lane for the nice hop into the one-hander. but the three-pointer was too much of a weapon down the stretch against a team that ranks 20th in three-point frequency. They get the switch to attack CP3, but KD shadows nicely out of the corner. I wasn't in love with the Craig dig down from one pass away off an elite shooter like Gordon, and you're probably never going to pry the ball away from the claw, so this is simply a mistake and it just about ends the game. But KD is KD for a reason, and they catch Kawhi getting caught up in the screen for a step, just enough room for this ridiculous turn and fade from deep to cut the lead in half. And while Chris Paul might be ineffective at this stage in his career, he gambles big time for the steal and not only pries it loose from the claw, but also draws a foul. Wow! They go back to that same pin down for Kawhi that had worked so well on the left side, but Kawhi runs out of bullets. And watch Booker. I get why he wanted to wave at Kawhi, desperate to make him miss, but he doesn't get into position for the rebound. And there's Russell Westbrook. The ball going to him like a magnet, and they reset. Now, the Suns didn't give up, but collapsed too much onto Kawhi, leaving man wide open in the corner. They dodge another bullet, but there's Russ again, knocking it off of Ayton to save the possession and perhaps the game. This was the epic part, as KD does an amazing job to deny Kawhi the catch at the elbow. I don't like this play, trying to have man screen to get him open, and as a result, the clock winds down and Russ has to take the game into his own hands. Booker assumes the refs will let them play, but this is just a little too handsy on the shot. Maybe not the worst thing to put a 66% free throw shooter on the line, but Russ hits them both. This out-of-bounds play was poorly drawn up and executed even worse, as Shaman and Booker did not time this properly at all. A failure of preparation and execution that cannot be tolerated in the playoffs. And here's where Russ got me out of my chair. They wanted an elevator screen for KD to the corner where he sprints between these two screeners, but that's blown up by Batum standing there, and now Booker is left with nothing but a straight ISO. Russ can't keep him out of the lane, but he runs alongside and then just blocks this shot. The contact of the hand is after the ball is released and therefore legal. But Booker is foolishly trying to argue the foul here, and Russ embarrasses him by throwing it off of his body. That ends the game. Give Russ the game ball, and if the Suns can't stop complaining to the refs and come up with a much better game plan, Lue will end up out coaching Monty. And the Clippers, who have just taken home court advantage from the Suns, will win this series in 6.